completed by hundreds of scientists, hits humanity with a big dose of reality about our role in global warming. NBC's chief environmental affairs correspondent Ann Thompson joins me now. And it's 95% certain that it is us. It's like Pogo, the problem is us.
Exactly. They say it's extremely likely. They say the world has warmed. It's unequivocal that the world has warmed since 1950. We are primarily responsible for it. And they say the consequences that we're seeing, we're going to continue to live with, Andrea. I mean, sea level rise, which we're already dealing with, it's going to increase anywhere from 10 to 32 inches by the end of the century. We're going to see more heat waves. They're going to be longer. We're going to see, we'll still see cold weather, but they say we're just going to see fewer of those really cold days.
And does it have any relationship to the severity of the storms that we've been seeing? Not just Sandy, but other storms do seem to be much more powerful.
They're a little more squishy, if you will, on that. I mean, clearly, when you have global warming and more moisture, more heat goes into the air, more moisture goes into the air, when it does rain, the rain can be much stronger than in the past. But what they are very certain about is the heat.
What is the long-term future of, not to be local, but Manhattan Island?
Well, we could be in trouble. So could New Orleans. So could Miami. I mean, we could see drastic inroads in all of those low-lying places if we see that extreme sea level rise of nearly 3 feet. But you don't need that much. I mean, just look at what happened during Sandy. We had 12 inches of sea level rise in the last century, basically in the New York area. Not all of it due to global warming, but when Sandy came ashore, because there was that much more water, the impact was far greater than it would have been. And that's what we're looking at.
And we're talking about also the barrier islands, the changing topography, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. I mean,
Cape Cod, Nantucket. I mean, I was in Nantucket this summer. You should see the erosion on Baxter Road. It's just absolutely breathtaking.
And this is a UN report, so it's an internationally achieved consensus. Are there still deniers out there?
Well, there are skeptics. I mean, even those who used to call themselves deniers most of them now admit that the world is warming. I mean, the science is there. That's pretty hard to deny. The bigger question is, what are we going to do about it? And that's where the argument comes, because what this report lays out very clearly is that we have to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. That means we have to either burn less coal and oil and gasoline, or do something to capture the carbon that's created when those fossil fuels are burned. And that's where the split is. We know what the consequences are. The question is, do we have the political will to do something about it? And as you know, in Washington, that's a very hot topic.
And you've got issues like the Keystone Pipeline in play. And, you know, all of these questions pit the environmentalists against others who look at jobs and say, Keystone does create jobs, but not really permanent jobs. But it's all of the industrial sector.
But if you don't have a job, no matter how many jobs, one job is all you're looking for. And what's interesting about the president's decision on Keystone, he essentially drew a line that said, look, if it increases carbon pollution, that's a non-starter for me. The question is, can the oil sands industry, can Canada do enough, put enough regulations in place to bring down those carbon emissions to make it palatable to the United States? Because just the process of getting the oil out of the sand puts more carbon dioxide into the air.
Ann Thompson, thanks so much.
Anytime.
Good to see you.